A very good afternoon. To those who just tuned in. This is Martha Matsarenta Shumba on Radio 54 African Panorama, creating the Africa we want, We are joined in studio by panelists. We're waiting for other panelists to come through. I think network keeps kicking people out, but we will try. We'll do our best and work with what we have to see how we can tackle this issue. So far, I have Cornelia Nkandla, who is also Radio 54 broadcaster, and I have Tutu Kompofu, who also want to contribute to this as we wait for our special guest, who is the Commissar for Gender Issues in Zim, Mai Sangarwe. We're still waiting for her. I'm not sure what's happening with the network. It keeps on kicking people out, but I believe that we will find a way. We'll find a way to resolve this as soon as they get in to talk about this issue that is always, it's sort of a taboo to talk about women issues, but we need to speak about these things because it is affecting us, it is affecting our people, it is affecting the communities, the societies. We have girls going through a lot during this COVID period, and there is nothing much we can do about it. Somebody said, but it is a burning issue that we need to really talk about. I see people getting kicked out here. Network is so jealous. But anyway, as soon as they are in, we will have them, talk about these issues. I want to play something here. In the meantime, there is a video that I received. Let me see if I can be able to find it. If I'm able to find it.
Ukaona murume anosimudza ruoko achirova mudzimai, chandinoziva ini ndechekuti hapana kana zuva rimwe raakambosimudza ruoko irworwo mukirasi. Mwana weumwe munhu kauyu wauri kuita kunge bhora kudai, kana kuti ndiyo nzira yaunoti apa ndagadzirisa nayo nyaya. Sakaoma odiko mwana wevanhu pamwe inherera kwekuenda kana kuti wekuturira ndo pasina. Ngatingoti ndiwe wawana hama yako ichirohwa yakasungirirwa seizvi, unonzwa sei? Vedu weka, saka kurikita kwauri kuita uku hausi kunzwawo here kuti kuchema uku ndekwemunhu abayiwa panyama nete. Unorova uchibonderedza kudai, saka kuchema uku haunzwewo tsitsi here. Ko akafa. Ngatiti pane vana, uchazovataurirawo here vakura kuti ndakarova mai venyu vakafa. Vamwe vanhu soka kuchema uku akusvikewo pamwoyo pako here. Ukaona uchiita zvakadaika usinganzwe kuvhunduka kana kutya nazvo ka, it means hauchakwani musociety yevanhu vane mafeelings neconscience. Nyika iri kuzvitaura here izvi mazuva ese, kana kuti inomirira 16 days dziya dzeactivism, ivo vechidzimai vachipondwa nekurohwa every day. Let's say no to gender-based violence.
That's Ray Gwisai. That's Ray Gwisai, who is a poet. I think most of you have watched his videos. You have done a very good job in sensitizing the issue of gender-based violence. And I believe that as a community, as a country, as a continent, we can actually come together and eradicate this scourge. Many people are dying. But anyway, that's not really the topic for today, even though it touches part of that. We are here to discuss adolescent girls and young women in during the COVID era, the challenges they faced, and all of that. As we are waiting for our guest to to connect, then we can be able to proceed with the conversation. I have something to share here. This is shock as this is from ZimbabweNews.com, ZWNews.com. Shock as 89 schoolgirls fall pregnant. This is something that happened now in 2020. Many girls are falling pregnant and the numbers are going high. And from the age groups, it used to be 17 to 19 years old, but now they're looking at as young as 12 to 16 years old. This is something that was reported as well in the chronicles by Thandeka Moyo Ndlovu, who is a health reporter. Said Bulawayo has recorded a sharp increase in the number of teenage pregnancies involving girls as young as 12. According to statistics from Philo Central Hospital, one of the two major health institutions in the city, children aged from 12 to 16 years now account for about 30% of deliveries, 30%. Teenagers, despite mental immaturity, have underdeveloped pelvises, which increase the risk of obstruction labor, maternal death, paralysis, and obstetric fistula. I don't know what that means. Early sexual engagement also increases the risk of girls suffering cervical cancer, which is the leading cancer in Zimbabwe and one of killer diseases among women. Reports also show that when a girl falls pregnant, they drop out of school and eventually give up on their studies. And this is something according to the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. That shows that the numbers have actually skyrocketed, and during this COVID-19 they cited reasons for teenage pregnancy that includes sexual abuse and lack of contraceptives, perception that one would not fall pregnant, and planned sexual debates. But when you look at this, the number of cases skyrocketing during this COVID period, we can look at these cases from a different point of view. That most girls got involved with guys just to make ends meet, to go by. We have seen cases where fathers were actually marrying their own daughters so that they can just get that lobola money and make ends meet, have food during this corona period. So it's been very hectic on the girls and young women. The number of women who went into prostitution because of the situation. This is something else. So the effects can actually be felt. Most women have reported many cases. They've reported cases of abuse. They've reported cases of just, saying yes. You go out there looking for an opportunity and there is this businessman or any guy with the money that you need, and they end up engaging into, unprotected sex, or they end up just, being involved with a person just for the sake of getting the little cash that they are looking for, which is terrible during this period of COVID-19, during this period of COVID era. So it's a sensitive case that most governments, they've tried to actually find ways to deal with this. We've seen the number of cases reported, especially in South Africa. There were a number of cases that were reported between from March 26th, 2020 to now. The number went up, but they've been trying to deal with these cases like this is a case of emergency. But how are other countries dealing with such issues? What are we preparing? How are we preparing if we were to go back into lockdown, into the same situation in 2021? How are we dealing with 12-year-olds getting pregnant? How are we dealing with that? So as I'm waiting for these guests, it is really said that they are being kicked out because of their networks. And I wrote this sometime in 2013. I think it was in a movie called Naked Stop that speak about women abuse. So I did this poem once upon a time when I was trying, being poetic and stuff. So I was invited to cast on this. So let's see. One of our guests managed to connect. Cornelia Mkandla, your device is not connected. If you can put your mic on, I don't know, you kept getting kicked out. Good day, Chutugo. I see you are in. Good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me? I think you'll let me. Ntutuko.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear
Welcome
me?
to Radio 54. Yes, I hear you now.
Good. Oh, good.
Yes,
Okay,
but you are kind of far, or you're speaking too low. I can hear you, but you kind of speaking too low.
I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's my network.
Okay, no, your network is good. You're good now. Welcome to the show, Creating the Africa We Want. We're talking
Can you
about.
hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Perfect.
Hello.
I hear you. Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me? I think your network could have been acting up because I see you've been kicked in and out. But in the meantime, let's do this. Let's play this poem as we fix this issue of network and adding our guest in.
Salibonani linjani. I hope you are enjoying yourselves, eh? Igama lami nguTalent. I'm here to recite a poem that I wrote entitled, Does It Make You a Man? You lift me and press my body against the wall. Your fists rain on my face. I'm so much used to this. You come home tired, I become your energizer. You quarrel with other men and fail to beat them, I become your punching bag. Does it make you a man? I am scarred and scared. I fear for my life every day. But for the sake of my children, I can't run. For my pride and dignity, I've kept it all to myself. Our children see everything. Witness your cruelty. To them, you have become a monster, not a father. Ubaba unjani? Ufundisana abantwana bakho. Uyangihlambalaza ngamagama every day. One is the love that you showed me when we first met. The only words that come out of your mouth now are stupid, idiot, and useless. Uyangibheka ngamehlo wabomvu. Wagcwele inzondo. Ngizwa ngathi ngibhekane ngombulali. Day after day, I beg and beg and beg. But my cries fall on deaf ears. I patiently wait for you to stop. But your anger grow and spread like an evil disease. Oh my man, once upon a time, bewuyindoda emadodweni. Bengisifela ngawe. Kodwa manje angisakwazi ukuthi ubani. Angisakwazi ukuthi ngiyenzeni phambili kwakho. But today, it's all over. My anger, my frustration, my fears, I put aside. I stand tall and behead. Not only for me, but thousands other abused women out there. Lokhu kwenzayo kuyakwenza ukuthi ube ndoda nawe. Thank you.
Hello, if you just tuned in, this is Matsarenda Shumba. It is something that I actually, recited a while ago. And yeah, when say we are now, it's when Kuluma in the Shona Napa is, let's say, my accent was Shonash. Like when a British speak in Ndebele. But anyway, I loved every moment of it. It was a way of expressing myself. It was a way of expressing myself regarding the issues of gender-based violence. Good afternoon, Tutugo. Can we try this again? Tutugo, hello? Hello? I think we've actually lost him. Then their network is just bad. It's just bad, and we have a special guest, Mai Sangarwe, and her network is also hectic.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good
Finally,
afternoon
how are you?
to you all.
Yes. I can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, welcome. Yes, welcome to the show.
Good
Can you hear me?
afternoon.
Can
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes, I hear you. I hear you perfectly. I can hear you. I'm not sure what's happening with your network. It seems like it's really bumpy. And yeah, I cannot. I'm trying to. Oh, can you hear me now? I think we have a problem here. The network, the connection is just bad on their side, but we'll try to make it work. I just want to read something here. School shock as grade 5 people among 1,000 schoolgirls fell pregnant. This was in Ekurhuleni. In South Africa. So the number of young girls falling pregnant during this COVID era is they keep on going up and up it seems like it's just not in one country, but in all countries. And we know what the problem is all about when we look at it. There was another statistics that was shared by the South African government, which showed that our young people between the ages of 15 to 25 were falling pregnant, one also getting infected by HIV. So it is that within that age group. Now we have gone back to the ages of 12, so which is 12 to 25. So as young as 12 years old, there's quite a lot that we can do to try and fight that, to try and stop that. Like I said earlier, we don't know what 2021 holds. We might say this is the end of the COVID era, but 2021 is around the corner. So if the same problems that made them fall pregnant is not spoken about, is not tackled, is not eradicated, we're still going to have the same problem come 2021, come 2022. So we need to find ways. Good day to go. I can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Tutugo? I think we still have the same problem with their networks, but anyway, either way, it is okay. So, like I was saying, if we don't find ways to deal with this issue that affect these young girls, to be honest, there is no. it doesn't end now. It won't end in 2020. It will go to 2021. It will go to 2022. And, we need to find a solution now. There are many organizations that are actually working, 24/7 to try and fight this. We look at 6,000 pregnant Zim teenagers who dropped out of school. This is 2020. 6,000 pregnant Zim teenagers. This is from the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, that revealed that over 6,000 teenage girls dropped out of school due to early unintended pregnancies. And the numbers actually are from as early as 2018, 2019, but we want to focus on the numbers on that we actually have for 2020, because these are the effects of COVID. Some ended up getting married, some ended up, in situations that they did not intend. Or actually thought they will find themselves in. But either way, it is a problem that is here. It is an issue that is here that we all need to come together to fight, that we all need to come up with solutions and fight it. If we don't do that, all these young people, when she fell pregnant at the age of 12, by the age of 25, she's now a single mom, not only of one, could be of two, could be of three, could be of four. By age 30, how is a life gonna be? Let's just watch this video for now.
My son Shakespeare, do not just shake your spear everywhere.
Shake, shake, shaking, shaking your spear everywhere. I see you shake, shake, shaking, shaking your spear everywhere. You are blah, blah, planting, planting your spear everywhere. You are blah, blah, planting, planting your spear everywhere.
There are angry leopards and buffaloes and antelopes wounded from previous encounters with hunters. They are restless and careless and may, in the heat of the moment, hurt themselves or new hunters. Let that not be you, my son.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
My son Shakespeare, do not just shake your spear everywhere. My son Shakespeare, I am proud of you. Today you've become a warrior eager to explore and tame the jungle with your sharp spear that never misses. My son, great hunters steer their spears carefully with their eyes and ears, with all their senses, with their intellect and heart, and their sense of right and wrong. How they use their spear points the way for others, and they stroke it and pat it with its slick sheath, keeping the blade sharp and safe until they find the right one.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
Be wiser than yesterday, since today you have a chance to listen to me. Not many sons are lucky to get my advice. Everybody falters every now and then. Sometimes you may fall, as is common to all boys and men. Wherever you falter, pick yourself up, keep on walking. Whatever your journey, whatever the situation.
My son, it's not everything you see that you must stand. Some animals are sacred and others are careless. Some will blunt your spear and break its point, break its shaft in two and your heart too. Others, like the python, will play games with you while you enjoy their tight embraces and cold kisses in between sweet nothings uttered by forked tongues. My son.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
Use your spear carefully, Shakespeare. A hunter knows when to act and when not to act. He knows how to choose. That is the only way to grow wise like me. The only way a hunter grows old. Many young hunters will give you wrong advice. Only a few live their own advice, test their own advice, so they are wise.
Dear son, don't hunt on Facebook or Twitter. Never trust WhatsApp or Instagram. Animals on all applications, old or new, are not real, my son, and have no home.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
Very good afternoon, a very good morning to those who just tuned in. This is Mother Matsarenda Shumba on a Radio 54 African Panorama as we create the Africa we want. Unfortunately, our guest, finally managed to get in Tutuko. Good afternoon, Tutuko. Good afternoon, you are mute. I think his network is out of town and his network is not that good. I don't know if we are able to connect to him, but the show must continue. I'll read this from Save the Children's Global Childhood Report that says 2020 risks being a year of irreversible setbacks for an entire generation of girls. So the topic here is adolescent girls and young women during the COVID era, during the lockdown, the year of 2020. We are joined in by Tutu Kompofu, who is with the Organization of African Youth. He is one of the members and leaders of the Organization of African Youth. I know his network is acting up, and Mai Sangarwe, we are not able to reach her. Her network also is acting up, and I'm not sure what's happening with people's networks today. As soon as we're able to get hold of them, we can continue. Afternoon, Tutuko, are you connected now? Okay, I will continue reading this. These are the statistics. School closures and higher poverty rates caused by the COVID-19 pandemic are predicted to increase rates of child marriages and teenage pregnancies around the world. In sub-Saharan alone, we're looking at 608,000 additional girls are thought to be at risk of child marriage and 542,000 additional girls at risk of early pregnancy. Adolescent pregnancies can have negative consequences for the mother's health as well as economic and social outcomes. Teenagers often face a higher risk of maternal mortality and miscarriage due to limited access to pre- and postnatal care. Teenage mothers are also more likely to drop out of school, leading to poorer economic outcomes and social isolation. Many years of evaluating social policies have created a wealth of knowledge about ways to reduce teenage pregnancies. In 2018, the PAL drafted a comprehensive policy bulletin outlining the key insights on how to reduce teenage pregnancies. And here they highlighted the interventions that policymakers and practitioners may wish to consider to urgently reduce child marriages and teenage pregnancies in light of the pandemic. And when making decisions about marriage, sexual activity and pregnancy, adolescent girls and other persons of influence weigh the costs and the benefits of bearing children. With this in mind, interventions aiming to reduce pregnancies seek to either increase the cost or reduce the benefits of childbearing. Yes, I can hear you in Tutuko now.
But lokhu zeno space bar.
Ngiyakuzwa manje. Oh, okay. Seems like I do get connected to him, but then all of a sudden he's gone. This network is something else. Jealous network. Ubutaka to pay. So the two types of interventions are most relevant during COVID times to reduce teenage pregnancies: information sharing and financial intervention. Information sharing and financial intervention. And I've been, having these discussions with the women organizations and other people that I've been working with to say, when we look at the girls and our women, they actually need economic or financial empowerment more than men. Okay, no time for comparisons now. But when a woman is financially stable, they avoid unnecessary sex. Okay, I just said that. They avoid all of that. So what we need here is information sharing and financial intervention during this COVID period, so as to to fight this unwanted teenage pregnancies. Information interventions ensure that teenagers' perceptions of the costs and benefits of childbearing are accurate. And these types of interventions usually involve sharing information on sexual health to avoid risk behavior and information on the benefits of education to keep girls in school. When we look at emakhaya, lapho sibuya khona thina, like Masikula, growing up, sorry that I'm always sticking to the other language. When Masikula, in a family where there is a boy and a girl, you find out that the boy is actually taught, you're gonna be the leader of this family, you're gonna be the head of this family, and before before you get married, you need to have a house, you need to have a car, you need to have girls in our raw setup. In fact, in all setups, it's a few of them that are taught these things. You need to go out there, chase your dreams, and it is highly important and so forth. We are only taught to look out after ourselves so that we can get married. We are taught to look after ourselves so that we can get a better guy, polish up your character, polish up your personality. This is how you talk. This is how you dress. That kind of conversations, that's what we are involved in. Siyahamba siye lapho siyofundiswa ukwenza izinto bathi nichina mari bayosifundisa yonke into okudonsa ngani, but they are not really involved in teaching the girls ukuthi you can contribute on leadership positions, you can contribute in your society, you can contribute in your village to create the Africa we want. If you just tune the end, this is Mata Matarenda Shimba on Radio 54 African Panorama, creating the Africa we want. Adolescent girls and young women during the COVID era. We are joined in by Tutuko. Unfortunately, his network is acting up. When he's able to speak and other guests are able to connect, then we can take it from there. Good afternoon, Tutuko. I'll keep on trying. As soon as he gets in, then we can get the ball rolling. Wherever you are, if you want to contribute to this conversation, kindly just share on our Facebook what you think about the topic, in our groups what you share about the topic, and on our we do have different platforms on WhatsApp. We have We have our Facebook group, and also those who wants to share their questions or their contributions. Unfortunately, all our guests are having trouble with their networks. They actually come in, but they're not able to speak. They're not able to share anything. So it's gonna be me and you listeners and those who are watching from Facebook. Thank you so much. If you have any question, if you want to add on this topic, you are more than welcome. Those who wants to come in studio, just let us know. You are also more than welcome. I'm reading something here on interventions, communication, information sharing, and financial interventions. We have the issue of sexual health. Evidence suggests that sexual health training that helps girls think through practical decisions associated with sexual activities, such as partner selection, frequency of sexual activities, and use of protection can be effective at reducing teenage pregnancies, more so than extortion such as abstinence alone. We are looking here, there's something written on Cameroon. Girls received a 1-hour sexual health training on sexual health behaviors. They found that the incidence of pregnancy declined by 25% from 9.5 to 4.6%. This was mainly due to the intervention increasing the belief that condoms were effective and thus decreasing unprotected sexual relationships. In Kenya, where older men are at a higher risk of HIV, providing girls with this information led to changes in partner selection. Girls chose younger sexual partners, thus reducing the incidence of HIV. This is very important, and I've been talking about it, on other platforms where it was not really well received because it was brutal and blunt. So here is the thing. In Kenya, they started this information sharing, looking at that older men in Kenya are at a higher risk of HIV. So when you are sharing information with these girls and educating them, they are able to select their partners and stick to their age groups. So during this COVID period, these girls at the age of 12 and 12 to 16, 12 to 18, they are vulnerable due to what? They're vulnerable due to the situation, poverty, hunger, and so forth. So they end up just looking at these sugar daddies, ama blessers, who care less about using protection. So without this information and sharing with these adolescent girls, this actually increases the chances of them getting infected because of what? There is no information. They just don't know about these things, and because of the situation, the vulnerability, they end up Ntutuko, are you able to connect now? Good day. Can you unmute? Can you unmute him?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. Welcome on the show.
My mic is on. Yes, my mic is on. Oh, okay. Thanks for joining, you guys. Can you hear me loud and clear, all of you?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Please share your thoughts on the topic at hand. Great stuff. What are your thoughts on the
I'm saying
on
thanks
the
for the
topic
meeting, though I had to jump in while it's on. I couldn't hear much what was said earlier on, but well,
okay.
Thanks for your time as well.
Okay, we are talking about the adolescent girls. Okay, we lost him again. His network is now acting up. We're talking about the adolescent girls and the vulnerability during this COVID era, and also looking at statistics from other countries and how they are fighting this issue. So I was sharing something from Cameroon and something from Kenya, where they use information sharing to eradicate this scourge. And number 2 is the benefit of education information. Looking at India, recruiters held 3 village-wide sessions annually for young women that shared information about employment opportunities in call centers available to girls with their high school diploma. In response, there was an increase in female secondary enrollment from 76 to 81%, and girls were 5.7% points, which is 13% less likely to have given birth over the following 3 years. Even married women chose to delay having a child in order to take advantage of the labor market. So it's this shows, looking at what's happening in Cameroon, in Kenya, and in India. It shows that if we can implement this in our respective countries, could be in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, where the numbers are actually higher. If we can, engage more in information sharing, we can save a whole lot of girls. We can save a whole lot of young women. I know some people might argue, say, "Oh, but yeah, they like things. They see someone with a car, they see someone doing this, and they get involved." No, sometimes the men who actually have or in a position to assist, they take advantage of the vulnerability of these girls. So they end up just to, rather than to just assist someone who at least athole umsebenzini, or at least athole ukudla, you want them to offer themselves. And at the end of the day, our society is very cruel. They don't reprimand the guy who is involved in that. They rather trash women. They rather trash the girl. And when these girls, they fall pregnant at this young age, about 30, the same guys who impregnate them will be saying, "No, Benny, you used up your youth, your young ages. Benny dlala nabo bani khona manje senifuna ukushada, senabo ama-single mothers." But really, you played a bigger role in this, and you played a bigger role in not doing anything about it, because it's happening to the girl next door. You never thought about your own sister. You never thought about your own cousin or your own daughter being in this kind of situation. So I'll keep on reading because it seems like I'm losing my guests. Their network is terrible today. So if you just tuned in, this is Mother Matsarinda Shumba on Radio 54, creating the Africa we want, and we are talking about adolescent girls and young women during the COVID era, and looking at unwanted pregnancy, looking at unwanted pregnancy, looking at unwanted sex, but they found themselves just doing this because of the situation. We looked at what's happening in Cameroon, how they've reduced the number of unwanted pregnancies and teenage pregnancies. We've looked at what's happening, how they are doing it in Kenya. We look at the benefits of education information. This is something happening in India. So I think we can do what we always do, which is copy and paste. And why come up with something new when we can just reinvent the wheel? And talking about reinvent the wheel, vakupi abo gogo, vakupi abo auntie, because back in the day bebasihlalisa phansi basitshela ukuthi umele uzinakekele, unakele ubuntombi bakho. But hey, they've all traveled. Baku diaspora kona manje nabo, they also want uncedo. Wherever they are, they also want to be assisted. They're also facing the same challenges at their older ages. So all this migration and the economic situations and, the village setup or people migrating to urban areas did not help much to give room to our older women and our aunties to educate our young people. But it says now, auntie abasha manje. We have the new aunties. We have all that information that is shared on Google. We have auntie Facebook as well. We have auntie Twitter, and also we have these NGOs. Sometimes, NGOs, what exactly are they doing when we see these numbers still going up? Or we are just NGOs for the sake of getting funding, mastoli sponsorship. We walk around, we drive around in expensive cars, living a cushy life rather than to put our monies where it should be in assisting these girls. I've seen a lot of people. I don't know how many people in my books who are into women empowerment. I'm doing this for the girl child. We are collecting this for the girl child, but the results are not shown. Maybe we are much focused on, the donations. No, if we can get funding, we can do this without even, seeking funding. It starts with information sharing. Sinabo, we have those single mothers already who are above 25. Let me talk to you now. Those who are between 25 to 35, the mistakes that we made. Some were not mistakes, some were raped, some were abused, some were manipulated, whatever the situation might be. You know how it's like to raise the kids on your own. You are in a very good position to start walking into schools, creating WhatsApp groups with young girls and educating them. Tell the real stories. I know we always find ourselves, forgive me, I don't know. Today I'm just into speaking this Zulu Ndebele thing. I'm trying to polish up, by the way. So it's to those who cannot understand the language, I will try and be 90% English, but forgive that part. We find ourselves in situations where we actually just to share this. Look at me, I'm a single mother. I fell pregnant at 16. Now I run my own company. I run my own organization. I've made it in life. I drive my own car. I have my own home. So it simply means you can make it. This is the motivation that you give to other single mothers. This is the motivation that you give to other single mothers, I repeat. Sometimes know your audience. Sometimes know who you are dealing with. If you are dealing with the young school, high school students, women who don't have kids and they are younger than you, below 25, be as blunt as you can. Tell them the real story. Not sugarcoating things. Don't even tell them about how you have made it. It has nothing to do with them. Talk about the challenges that you face. Talk about the real mistake. I was all over. And this is how I ended up falling pregnant. Or Mina, my situation was like this, and I ended up sleeping with this guy because of I wanted this. And when I fell pregnant, I was left all alone. My family didn't have anything to feed me and the kid. I had to drop out of school, and right now it's difficult to hustle without a proper education. It's difficult to hustle without skills. And even difficult to get into another relationship. Of course, you can still find somebody who's done. But let us be honest, the streets, the society is harsh on such women. And keeping quiet and pushing the activism of, they need to recognize us as single mothers. You are not doing your younger sisters and the younger women who are not yet married any favor. You are not. Let there be two separate platforms. When it comes to those young ones, be honest and tell them, Okuti, there is nothing wrong with staying a virgin. There is nothing wrong with pushing your education, with pushing your dreams. There is definitely nothing wrong, with finishing your school without umtuana, without a child. There is nothing wrong with getting married without a child, or without any kid. There is nothing wrong with that. These days, it seems like it's fashion. And when we go out, they ask single mother. I am one of them, so I'm gonna be as blunt as I can, looking at the mistakes that I've also made along the way when speaking to these young girls. We are trying to prove that we are also important as single mothers, but at the expense of these 12 to 19 who don't have a kid at all. Let us go there back to the schools, back to the communities where we made mistakes, and sit down with these girls and tell them the real story. Uguti, I made a mistake. It's very difficult. When you get a job that gives you 5K, you cannot pay for your studies on your own. You cannot, because half of the money is going to the child to take care of your responsibility. So it minimizes, your chances of pushing your dream. It minimizes your chances of furthering your studies. It minimizes your chances. Like, if you didn't have a kid that you need to take care of, that is your responsibility, your chances of just focusing on your work and your studies, they're very high. You have better chances of focusing. I will tell you a story. I want to share this. When I fell pregnant and I had to go back to school, to those who are close to me, they know the story. It was very difficult. I forced actually to go back to school. The situation couldn't allow me to go back to school. The situation couldn't allow me to go back to school, but I forced to go back to school. So I found myself, kumakorokoza, those goat panners. I found myself there selling mukumbi, that's the marula beer, and sadza, selling that to raise money to go back to school. When I finally found the money, I went back to my parents and said, this is what I have, but we need a maid because everybody was working and the other kids need to go back to school. So we did found that. But this is what I used to do. I used to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, I would prepare for the kid, for the child, make sure that he's fed. Then from there, I had to dress up, leave home at 4:30 and walk to school. Reason being, I had to study in front of the staff room where there was electricity. So I had to, it was just, that place only where there was a bulb, so I could go and study. It was not just about, studying in peace where there is electricity and so forth. It was that time where I could study before other students come to school to mock me. So I had all the time to study. By the time other students come at 7, I know the insults, the mocking would start. So I had no peace in the classroom. All the insults they wanted to throw, they would throw. The teacher would come, want to make an example. Yeah, some were very good. I appreciate Mama Shanda. I appreciate all the other Mama side. All my teachers were very supportive. But it was very difficult to be at school and having a child. In the community, you can't walk freely. You can't even crack a joke at home. So that also affected me. Even though it pushed me to pass, because I managed to pass, it's pushed me, to say, I will make it. This mistake, it will never define my life. It will never define who I am. But the journey was very difficult. To every girl that I speak to, I've been doing these school walk-ins here in South Africa. I've been to most schools in Soweto, Deep Sloot, Deep Kloof. I've been there giving talks. I always tell these girls that I do not wish any other girl to go through what I went through. I do not wish them. If we have made mistakes, we can speak about how I managed to bounce back, how I became to be where I am and who I am today. We will talk about that if we have already made the mistake. But to those who have not yet made the mistake, my advice is just one. If you have a sister out there who who don't have a kid, who is still in high school, sit down with them and talk to them and tell them, Ogude, finish your school, finish your studies, make your own money, be independent financially, and only then will you meet a person. Because sometimes we get into relationship because we want food. We get into relationship because we are looking for somebody to look after us. I lead our youth at our church, the Church of Asa, and I always talk to these young people, like when we do our get-togethers, and we had one of our youth get-togethers, and I was telling them the same thing: focus on your studies, get a skill, even if poverty, even if the problem there is nothing, no matter how difficult it is. Focus on your dreams. This is not just about you as an individual and your future and the dangers associated with falling pregnant at a very young age. This is also something that has to do with, our economy. We are not growing as communities. We are not growing economically as nations. Many women, they are catching up. Those who are right now between the ages of 25 and 40, women are trying to catch up. But like I said, it's now a race of my kids getting a perfect partner who can accept you with your kids, at the same time wanting to be heard, at the same time, wanting to make it happen. We want to, live our dreams. We want to achieve those things that we could have achieved in 10 years. 10 years ago. We want to do it now. So the pressure is way too much. So I want to urge those organizations. I want to urge our single mothers and aunties, play your role in communities. Let's not us be jealous of the younger ones who don't have kids and be like, no, they will see it. Yeah, life is Oranyisa. They will learn, no, don't be that cruel. It is time that we do the hard talk. It is time we go there. And it's not about saving the whole school. It's not about saving 1,000 students. It's just that one person. Save them from the misery. Save them from the hardships of life. Not everybody is going to be lucky. If you walk away with a kid, oh, thank God, that's a blessing. God used you to send a message. So you are the messenger. But how about the diseases? How about the complications that comes with early childbirth? You can die. So do not sacrifice your future. Do not sacrifice your dream because of the hardships that you are facing today. So to all the young girls, I know it's not easy right now, especially during Corona. But I better stand in the streets selling sweets, stand in the streets selling mangoes. If you are in the rural areas, you are blessed because you can actually start selling chicken eggs, you can start selling mangoes. When it's time for mangoes, you can start doing that, but appreciate what you have. And another thing, especially to the diaspora community, to the organizations, most of our young girls find themselves in this situation because they just want to go by. They don't have abazali. Parents are actually trying to get the school fees right, even if the uniform is an old uniform. But the other stuff is sanitary pads, sanitary towels, and underwears. So there's this guy, our diaspora guys, they're coming home for Christmas, by the way. You go into Small Street and buy the pumps for 25 rand. Buy the underwears for 5 rand. Ama sanitary pads for 10 rand. He put in a plastic bag. He goes back to the village. He find a young girl. Now I want to get married. But this is a guy who has been doing all they can. You see? He's doing all they can to sleep with any woman that he can find in diaspora. He goes back home. He's not tested. You don't get tested. You tell that girl that, okay, which means, you don't love me. If you want to use protection, which means you don't love me. I mean, I'm ready to marry you. This is actually causing the high number of the high number of HIV infections back home in our home countries. It is us, the people who are coming from diaspora, by the way. I'm sorry to say this, but we know how we are doing it. You no longer want to get now women in diaspora that use up. I'll go back home and I'll get a fresh one. Are you fresh, booty? When I'm baba, are you fresh? So that's not the point. That is not the point of my conversation here. But what I'm trying to paint here is these girls are lured by just those small stuff. They actually need an underwear. Some are going to school with a torn underwear, just the one that she washes. Some are using cow dung, for during the their periods, their monthly periods. Some are using leaves. Some are tearing, a cloth, which is not comfortable. Some are missing school. But here, us in diaspora, it takes you 100 rand to make a difference. I know this because I know in Small Street, in Johannesburg Small Street, the underwears are going for 5 rand. The sanitary pads, those cheaper ones, you can actually get them at a very cheap price of 10 to 15 rand. So you can actually be able to buy for a month or for a term for a girl. So these organizations that are catering for the girl child, those are the things that we actually need to look at to say what can we put together and fight this. I worked on a program with the Church of Asaf. It's still running, but because of this 2020, this year we put it on hold. But 2018, 2019, we managed to do that. So we had a program of Adopt a Kid, where we paid school fees for people back home. But then I think in rural areas, in the Mberengwa district, the school fees for primary was about 150 rand per term, 150 to 250 per term. So these are the things that you can actually do to just put aside to say this term, let me just pay school fees for a girl. I think now at high school, I saw with them checking, it's 500 rands per term. So those are some of the things that you can do. If you can just sacrifice that amount to say, let me pay school fees for this girl. Let me pay, no strings attached. Do not look at if you're a guy like, okay, I'm paying for my future wife. Just do the good deed. You can also, just say 200 rand, you can buy sanitary pads for a girl for the whole term so that she don't have to feel uncomfortable. Those are some of the things that we can do to avoid these girls sleeping with men to get the necessities they need. I'm going to read something from Cornelia Mkandla before I continue with this article. Cornelia Mkandla was supposed to be one of our guests, but because of network, we couldn't make it. So she's saying most cases when a girl child gets pregnant, it will be hard for you to accomplish your dreams. It's even worse when you get pregnant when you are in school. You have to leave school. At home, they will incite you. The society will treat you differently. Other parents will not allow their kids to hang out with you because they think you will lure them into the same situation you are in. It's important as a young lady to know your story in the society. Focusing on your dream is the best. Do you, girl? Thank you so much, Cornelia Mkandla, for your contribution to the show. Anybody else who have something to say to contribute to the conversation, you can actually just post it on our Facebook or on our groups so that we can actually read it loud here during the show. If you just tuned in, this is Martha Matarenda Shumba on Radio 54 African Panorama, Creating the Africa We Want. That's the name of the show. But today's topic is adolescent girls and young women during the COVID era. And we're looking at unwanted and child pregnancies. And we also move to we're left with about 22 minutes. So we'll also move to child marriages that are happening. Fathers actually getting their girl child married at a very young age so that they can just get that little lower money and, just have unkwanyana, that son-in-law who cater for them during this pandemic. So we need to look at ways to avoid all of this so that we can we can move on as a continent, as a nation, as communities. It is very, very important. And when you are looking at this topic, don't look at the topic as this is happening to the girl next door. Just to think about your own sister. Think about your own daughter being in that situation. What would you do as a brother? What should you do as a father to avoid this from actually happening? And also, this is an encouragement to men. Do those men indabas, talk to the young guys, talk to each other, reprimand each other, because these guys are just, some of them are just going out there, making these girls pregnant and just leaving. They're not taking care of their kids. And we also we all find, enough words to insult these single mothers without reprimanding each other as men, to say we need to play our role. If you have made a girl pregnant, if you don't want to marry her, that's fine. Fair enough. At least look after your child so that she can also be able to look after herself, to pursue her dreams, so that we can have better economies, better communities, and also create our female leaders. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be a competition. It shouldn't be something to say, okay, once women, get in power, I know how it goes with our own mentalities and our school of thought. But if we think without a box, if we think differently, we can actually achieve more. We can achieve better. I'm just gonna continue with this article. Say COVID-19 and measures to contain it may lead to additional barriers to the implementation of information intervention. For example, if girls are out of school, it will be important to adapt sexual health training to be delivered remotely. Similarly, interventions that highlight the benefits of education may be less effective in contexts where school reopening are uncertain. Nonetheless, the fundamental mechanisms that girls can adapt their risk and benefit perceptions, thus their change behavior, may still apply. So if you are in a situation where we have a very good network coverage, for instance, those who have Wi-Fi, what you can do, no matter where you are, what you can do is gather around some young girls at your home, in the streets, wherever. Then we can have this conversation. I don't mind having these talks. I don't mind talking to other organizations that are doing this. We do online sessions here on Radio 54, even out of radio. I always have time for this kind of things. Then we can have a talk with them. So it doesn't need all these girls to have network, all these girls to have Wi-Fi or data bundle. Some don't even have cell phones. So if you are in the village and want to partner with us to do this, please just let us know. You can always inbox us on Radio 54 African Panorama Live. You can inbox me on my Facebook. This is Matarenda Shumba. You can leave us a comment. You can also email me, which is matarenda@matashumba.africa. That's matarenda@matashumba.africa. You can also send a WhatsApp message on the number on our website, which is www.radio54africanpanorama.com. If you have network coverage, you have your smartphone, you can get bundles. We can do this even if it is 20 to 30 minutes to 1 hour sessions with the girls in your communities. We can have these talks. So it doesn't matter whether you're a man or you're a woman. Let us come together to fight this. So this is a call from me to invite all of you to say, I will have time. Even if it is in the middle of the night, I have time. During the day, I have time. During my shows, I'm sure we can still talk to other broadcasters. We can also do these kind of interventions, share on their platforms. Let us fight this. We need our girls in school. We need our girls, making it. It's not good even to you guys to always look after meet. You want to get married, but every girl that you meet already have a kid and want to be taken care of, and you want to start a family. There is nothing wrong in wanting a girl who don't have a child. But if you guys keep on impregnating the women, who will marry the ones that you impregnate and leave? It is not a duty of only the girls to look out for themselves and getting enough information, but the duty for you guys to also know better, to know that if I sleep and division 5 girls, my chances of getting a virgin, they are very slim. And actually, it will be cruel for you to want a virgin. Go for, you know what I mean. So, okay, if you just tuned in, this is Mother Mataranda Shumba on Radio Fit for African Panorama. This was supposed to be a panel discussion, so just forgive me, guys. All my guests, for some reason, their network just went. So this is me, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 3 hours, talking to myself non-stop. But anyway, I'm not complaining. There's some of the issues that are close to my heart. These are topics that are very, very close to my heart. To those that just tuned in, this is Mata Matarenda Shumba on Radio Fit for African Panorama. And creating the Africa we want, and looking at the adolescent girls and the young women in Africa and the challenges that they are facing during this COVID era, and how we can eradicate such problems and create the better Africa, the Africa we want. So this was happening in Ghana, covering costs to keep girls in school. Okay, I think I mentioned something like that. We are left with 15 minutes to go, but I will be as fast as I can so that we can cover everything. In Ghana, where tuition is charged for secondary school, researchers randomly awarded scholarships by lottery to students with the necessary grades. 8 years later, at age 25, women offered scholarships were 10.7% points, which is 18% less likely to have ever been pregnant. The reduction was driven by 11.5 percentage points, 20% decline in unplanned pregnancies by unmarried women. So this is at organization and at government level. There should be scholarships for girls. Girls who get scholarships. I have a friend we're at school together, at high school together. She managed to get these presidential scholarships that were offered to orphans in Zim. I think they're still running some program. And she studied at VETS. I cannot mention her name, unfortunately. And she managed to get the scholarship and studied law at VETS University, and had to go back home to work for the country. And I'm talking about a girl who finished her law studies, a virgin. And at 29, she was still a virgin because she was focused on her studies, the discipline. Yeah, so she's now married. So you guys don't inbox me like, where is she? We want her. No. Don't inbox. She's now married. So at 29, got married at 29, a virgin, a lawyer. Yeah, I know that, yes, we do activists who say, don't talk about that, virginity study. It's not that important. No, I'm not looking at being sold. I'm looking at, the whole other stuff that involves that, to say when there is a scholarship, somebody's able to study, the discipline that comes from, from the family, the society, the focus and everything, and also knowing that there is nobody who's coming to help me. If I don't make it, there is nothing that is going to come. I think those are the things that also helped her to, to push. So even small financial incentives that cover schooling costs can have effects on attendance and thus pregnancies. In Kenya, researchers subsidized school costs through the provision of uniforms to upper primary school students. The subsidy led to a decrease in the rate of adolescent pregnancy by 3% points, from 16% to 13%, a 17% decrease. So that's some of the things that I was, sharing earlier, to say when we cater for them, for their needs, things that can be used to say, come here, I can look after you. I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I can give you the uniform. Look, your uniform looks like this. We are gonna kusauthi. I can get you the my pampas. I can not my pumps. I can get you this. I can use that money to just bless a girl child. Let us reduce these unwanted pregnancies. And I know your argument, some are just waiting there with the argument that says, these ones, they're not looking at it. No, I don't want to hear it. Play your role. Supporting out of school girls, unconditional cash transfer may help girls avoid transactional relationships or delay marriage. In Malawi, unconditional cash transfers, what they call the UCTs, which provided girls and their parents with monthly payments, delayed pregnancy among adolescent recipients. By the end of the 2-year program, adolescents where households received UCTs were 6.7% points less likely to have ever been pregnant, compared with the 24.7% of adolescents in comparison households. The effect existed mainly among girls not enrolled in school at baseline. In-kind transfers may also be able to delay marriages. In Bangladesh, providing an incentive of cooking oil worth about US $16 conditional on girls remaining unmarried helped offset a higher dowry cost to parents of postponing marriage. This leads to delayed marriage and childbearing among girls aged 15 to 17. They were 6.7% points less likely to marry before 18, a 23% drop from 27%. The provision of cooking oil also reduced the likelihood of pregnancy before age of 20 by 2.9 percentage points, 13% points from 23%. Once again, COVID-19 may affect implementation of incentive-based interventions. It may also add additional barriers and constraints to girls' schooling and emancipation. Nonetheless, whether girls are falling pregnant due to transactional relationships or early marriage, providing them and their families with financial support can help to alleviate economic pressure that may in certain instances lead to early pregnancy. And while COVID-19 could take us back many years in the fight for equality and girls' school participation, especially by increasing teenage pregnancies, it doesn't have to. We have both the evidence and the tools to apply the evidence to new contexts, which allow us to avoid a rise early marriages, transactional relationships, and other factors leading to early pregnancies. At JPAL Africa, we want to partners to governments in this effort to help girls who are at risk of pregnancy and early marriage. If you're interested in exploring the application of such interventions to your context, this is JPAL Africa. You can just find them on Google. JPAL Africa. You can actually email them at JPAL. J for Jane, P for Peter, A for Anna, L for Lemon, A for Anna, F for Africa, R for Rapid, I for Innocent, C for Church, A for Anna at povertyactionlab.org. They are based in Cape Town. Their number is 021 650 5981. That's 021 650 5981. That's JPAL. They're based in Cape Town. And for me, Martha Matarinda Shumba and Radio 54 African Panorama, we are more than ready to run these interventions on the adolescent girls in Africa, wherever you are, and appealing to the diaspora community to say, 2021, we don't know what's going to happen. 2021, we don't know what is going to happen. We don't know what is coming. So it is important for us to say, let us come together. Let us come together to assist in our communities where we come from, to assist our young people, to assist everybody that we can, our young girls, whether with information sharing, whether it's information sharing, whether it's those incentives. You can buy the sanitary towels. We are actually working with another brother who is based in the United States, who is actually assisting us to put together sanitary towels for our young girls in Zimbabwe. So far, we have managed to buy about 10 packs that have 25 little packs inside. Those, those packets with 10 each. So this big packet have about 25 of those. Is going for US dollars, $14 US dollars. But if you are buying 100 of those packs, you get it for about 11 USD. So if you want to assist those who are in diaspora, if you want to assist, kindly get in touch with me. You can just buy that packet that have 25 inside, going for 14 USD. If you buy that, with the 25 inside, it simply means you are able to distribute it to at least 5 girls. They get each 5 packets. So 5 packets, well, that can actually, push. If you want to buy that for a girl as well, she can just get that packet. We are in touch with those who are selling them. They are actually the distributors, and they are actually they are actually very cheap. So it makes it very, very, very easy for us to just buy straight from them and distribute in our own areas. So yeah, with that, I want you to also watch this video from Albert Nyati as we are wrapping up and preparing for Sister Maria Lady M, who is coming with a great show. She's actually bringing in a guest. And I'm telling you, we are going to be blessed today.
I'm trying to protect you from the truly hyenas. I'm trying to protect you from the jumpy monkeys, from the panting leopards.
My daughter, when I demand that you be home before dark every day, I, my daughter, do not hate you, dear. I am merely trying to protect you from the jaws of the drooling hyenas that love to feast in the dark, from the panting leopards lurking in the dark, stalking you like ghosts almost ready to leap at you. I am merely trying to protect you, dear, from the hungry lions silently eyeing you, smacking their lips, ready to pounce. When I say be home before dark every day, I am trying to protect you from the jittery and jumpy monkeys leaping from tree to tree and from branch to branch with no particular base.
Remember, my daughter, women are powerful too. They have the power to say no wherever they roam and go. No is the most powerful word, the roar in the jungle. Learn it well. Women have the right of respect, to be listened to be protected. Women are tigers, beautiful and powerful. But even tigers tread carefully, with cushioned feet, and listen to their whiskers, if not their fathers. Be brave, but careful and wise.
Daughter, take heed, darkness has no eye.
I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to protect you. The jumpy monkeys from the panting leopards.
I am merely doing what fathers should do. It is my duty to protect you from the relentless black mambas that hate to miss a target as they slide and glide in the dark.
I am merely trying to protect you from the jungle out there. You may not see on our streets, in our villages, virtual and real. So you know what you want, so you know to say yes or no. I am merely trying to protect you from the jittery and jumpy monkeys of no fixed abode, leaping from tree to tree and from branch to branch, that confuse your power to decide. They all want to win your heart. Remember, there are many different animals, and you only have one heart. I am merely trying to protect you, dear, from hungry lions silently eyeing you, smacking their lips, ready to pounce.
Yes, if you just tuned in, this is goodbye. That's the end of our show. Thank you so much, guys, to those who the network have been bad and we're not able to get our listeners. You know, this is exactly 5:05, and let us welcome Lady Emma, who is coming with another beautiful show. Take care. I love you. I love you. I love you.